Do you ever notice how some of your pottery photos turn out great, while others just don't do your work justice? You take 20 shots of the same mug and can't figure out why only one or two look good. The good news? It's not random luck. In today's video, we're going to talk about the 4 most common mistakes I see artists making with their product photography, and of course, how to avoid them. Hey, I'm Rebecca, a professional photographer and hobby potter. For the past 14 years, I've been capturing stunning images for clients all over the world. And now I'm helping artists like you photograph your work as beautifully as it deserves to be. The best part about the mistakes we're going to cover and solve today is that you can do all of this even if you're just using your cell phone. Here's what we're going to be talking about. Why your backgrounds are distracting viewers, the simple camera angle adjustment that shows your work's true shape, how to solve composition problems that distract, and the all too common handhold photo, and what to do instead. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools to take photos you're actually excited to share with the world. But real quick, before we dive in, an important note. Photography has a lot of variables, which is a huge reason why it can feel so overwhelming to figure out how to take consistent and better pictures. I've put together a free product photography foundations guide that explains the exact setup I use to photograph my own work. Following the guide will ensure you get started right and can more easily find solutions to the mistakes that we'll be covering in this video. Grab it now by clicking the link in the description. All right, so the first major mistake I see all the time is placing your pieces too close to the background. This is a mistake I've seen beginners and even experienced makers who just haven't thought about how the background affects their photos. Here's what happens. When this gelato cup by my friend and mentor Sandy Lockwood sits right against the background, your eye gets confused about what to focus on. Is the subject of the photo the bowl or the tile behind it? Not to mention, you can obviously tell that this subway tile is a fake background when I'm right up against it. Nowhere in my house do I have chic subway tile, let alone a marble countertop. I promise you. Now, the solution for this is gloriously simple. All you have to do is keep your piece at least 2 feet away from any background. And for those in metric, that is roughly 60 centimeters. Also, I should mention, all of these example photos are unedited. I took the first picture with my cell phone. And I also took the second picture with my cell phone. But I moved the gelato cup about 2 feet away from the tile. Again, that's roughly 60 centimeters. The tile actually looks real now, doesn't it? But you also pay way less attention to the tile because the gelato cup is clearly the subject of the picture. And here is the same gelato cup in the exact same position, but taken with a regular camera, just for the sake of comparison. If you want to hear more about using regular cameras instead of cell phones to photograph your work, pop a message in the comments below so I know what to focus on in future videos. But let's get back to this. By moving your piece farther away from the backdrop, even if you're only using a cell phone, you're creating what's called compression, or depth of field. But you don't need to worry about the photography jargon terms. All you need to know is that if you like a little bit of a blurry background, in order to show your piece, to make it kind of pop out of the picture as the subject, then you want to keep your piece at least 2 feet or 60 centimeters away from whatever background you're using. Creating blur using actual physical distance in real life will also help avoid all the weird blurry things that can happen when you're trying to use portrait mode with something like a mug. Have you ever turned on portrait mode and then had the handle also look blurry, but the front of the mug stay in focus? Or have you seen sort of a weird halo effect? Let me know in the comments if you thought blur like this was only possible using filters or something like portrait mode. Or if you're surprised by how easy it is to solve this issue without even needing to edit. You're gonna notice a trend here through the rest of the video. So the second mistake is something I see potters and makers do all the time. Photographing your work at the wrong angle. We are so used to holding our phones at that slight downward angle when we text or scroll through social media that we often unconsciously do the same when we're photographing our work. Let me show you what that looks like. In this first photo, I'm holding my phone the way I normally would when texting. Look at how it distorts the mug's proportions. The rim looks huge and you can't actually see what the shape of the full mug even is. Now look at this second photo of the exact same mug in the exact same position. In fact, I didn't even get up from my desk to take this picture. The only thing I changed, aside from moving the keyboard out of the way, which we'll talk about in mistake number 3, was holding my phone perfectly straight up and down. Do you see the difference? The mug looks like its actual true self. This is especially important for pottery because the slightest angle change can dramatically distort the curves and the proportions that you worked so hard to perfect. On to our third mistake. It's actually 2 compositional issues that I see constantly: awkward intersections and forgetting about the edge or the frame of your picture. First, the intersection problem. You spend hours perfecting the curve of your pot, then photograph it with a line cutting right through that beautiful shape. Look at how this desk corner cuts through the handle's negative space on this mug by my husband. Or how this horizon line makes the mug look like it might slide off because it's at an angle. Both of these lines in the background of the picture are distracting from the mug. So the second issue here is cramming your piece too close to every edge of the frame of the photo. Now, I understand why you want the majority of the picture to be of what you make, but not only does this create visual tension, but it actually distorts the shape of your piece. No matter if you're using a cell phone or a regular camera, lenses are curved. So the closer to the edge of the photo you have anything, the more its shape is going to be distorted. Which, side note, little bonus tip here, if you hate having your own picture taken, as we all do, the next time you're with a group of friends, make sure you stand in the middle of the group instead of trying to avoid having your photo taken by putting yourself on the edge. That distortion, it happens to us humans too. And I bet you like the way your arms look a lot more when you're in the middle instead of on the edge. Just trust me on this one. But I digress. The solutions for photographing your artwork are simple. Be intentional about where lines in your background intersect with your piece. Either keep them from intersecting your piece entirely, or make sure that they intersect in a pleasing way, such as at a third of your piece, either the bottom third or the top third. Generally avoid the halfway point. Give your pottery breathing room as well within the frame. Don't worry if you see a little bit of the edge of your background when you photograph from farther away. You can always crop that out later. Allowing for some negative or empty space in the photo not only creates a more visually pleasing image, it also helps you avoid distorting the shape of your piece when showing it off in a picture. Recently, one of our community members, Debbie, took this a step even further and lined up all of the horizon lines of her photos in the preview images in the shop on her website. Talk about beautiful consistency. What an impact this had on making it visually easy to take in the beauty of her work as you scroll through all the options. I can't say I have gone that far, so don't worry, you don't have to. This is just a really beautiful example. All right, the fourth mistake, the final one that I see all of the time, and there's no shame because we've all done it. I call it the handhold. You know what I'm talking about. When you're holding your piece in one hand, stretching out as far as you can, trying to hold your phone in the other hand to take a picture, it's awkward. And frankly, I'm shocked more pots haven't been broken in the process. The reason this is an issue goes back to what we just talked about with distortion and the edges of your photos. Your arm, of course, will be at the edge when you're taking a photo like this, and it can start to look really weird. I mean, in this photo, my wrist looks gigantic compared to the mug. Not to mention the whole thing is just unnatural and it's uncomfortable to take a picture that way. Now, Let's be clear. I'm not saying using your hands as a prop is a bad idea. In fact, especially if you make functional work, is a great idea. But we want to show our viewers and potential customers a realistic example of what it would be like to hold that mug that you just made. No one is going around drinking their morning coffee with their arm totally outstretched, right? So 2 simple solutions that will immediately elevate your photography. Number 1, use selfie mode with the timer. Set your phone on a stable surface and use the timer function. This gives you both hands free to hold your piece naturally. Your second option is to ask a friend for help. They can hold the piece naturally while you focus on getting the perfect shot. And if you work in a community studio, I promise you, you have plenty of friends to do this with and trade back and forth. You hold their pot, they hold your pot. Bonus here, you can use your friend's torso as a background, so you don't even have to set up anything. And you don't even have to show their face if they hate the idea of having their photo taken as well. Now, my friends, I want to make sure you notice all of the solutions to these common mistakes have nothing to do with what kind of camera or cell phone you're using. Not to mention, none of them are editing solutions. That's on purpose. The closer we can get your photo looking great at the time you take the picture, the more time we're going to save you. A lot of advanced editing stuff often takes way more time than simply taking the picture correctly in the first place. If you found this video helpful, then be sure to download my free Product Photography Foundations Guide from the link in the description. It explains the exact setup I use to photograph my own pottery, and following the guide will ensure you get started off correctly and can more easily find solutions to the mistakes that we just covered. Grab it now by clicking the link in the description. Of course, I'm sure you already know these 4 mistakes only graze the surface of everything we're battling when it comes to taking beautiful photos of the work that we make. I'm just getting started here on YouTube, and I have plenty more videos I'm working on full of tips for taking better photos of your art specifically, no matter if you use a cell phone or a regular camera. So be sure you've hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. But if those pots fresh out of the kiln can't wait for the next video, then pop on over to Instagram to check out the tips and tricks I've been sharing over there for the last few years. Until next time, my friends, go get back to making your dreams a reality, because together, we've got this.